Guys, we are back for another episode of Selected TV. Remember this season? I don't remember episode 1. I'll probably start from the start of the season saying, you know, we're going to have a couple of celebrities in the building. I know the celebrities like to deny it, but I'm just saying. I think from you guys can already see who I'm sitting with, and I know he's going to deny it again. Celebrities in the building, guys. We've got Will Stowe. What is going on today?
How you doing? You alright?
I'm good. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for inviting me. It's been a long time.
Trust me, I know you've been the man of the hour out there, but I'm you know, we're having selected energy today. Thank you so much for joining me. Absolute pleasure, of course, having you on the show.
Well, I'm gonna start off saying I'm gonna accept the celebrity.
You're gonna accept it.
Accept it if the community says it.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's what the streets are saying. That is what the streets are saying. So, celebrity in the building, he's accepted it. Yeah. So, Mr. Celebrity, Mr. Will Stowe, how did you get into sneakers?
So I'd always start off with family and where I grew up. So I grew up in Hackney, Hagson to be specific. All of my older cousins are like at least like 10, some bit older than me. And, you know, there was definitely like uniforms and the flair that was going on around us as well. And if you imagine places like Dalston Market, there's so much like colour, vibrancy, different cultures,
absolutely.
like Jamaicans, Nigerians, Chinese, Vietnamese people, different styles going on. But at home, like dressing well was like a thing. So, you know, I say like the earliest shoes I can remember that would like be a regular rotation was like Reebok Workout.
Okay, nice.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
Like 30, 50 pound shoe at the time or whatever it was. And then as you grow older, you know, you start watching what your cousins are wearing out. Music videos start to influence. You get the all white Air Force Ones. Yeah. And then the pinnacle Rolex of shoes is the, you know, Air Max 95. So, you know, you're just watching the older guys who are around, you know, and there was a lot of stylish people in school. So many, you know, so just watching people around me, man, those are my biggest influences and what got me into it. I wouldn't say that we were in Hackney, or I'd say as we grew up, we weren't probably labeling ourselves as sneakerheads, but it was definitely like we wore our clothes as a flex. Yeah, you know absolutely. You dress to impress.
No, 100. I think I came from similar era where it was like, you put your stuff on, you put your crepes on, and it was like we're trying to go out there and impress. It wasn't really about like collecting or saying I've got like, do you get it? That many.
You stepped outside of your clothes.
I lie. Like that's what really happened. I think like obviously you're with known as Hackney's finest / celebrity. I would definitely say even now when I think back to like Hackney, like back in the day, I'm not gonna tell you guys how back in the day, but I've always even now
She's
feel
only
like
16.
something like that. 21 guys. So I even think back and I think like Hackney has always been quite vibrant. So when you said that, it's like if you growing up you kind of saw that, and even now I still look at Hackney as being very vibrant. Everyone's got their own style. It's very kind of eccentric at times. So yeah, I can imagine. And I think it shows. Guys, remember I stalk people's Instagrams, and you get it. Like I see the style and the fashion is still there. But no, that's really interesting. So obviously I've mentioned collecting, but would you say there was a point where you felt like, okay, you know, I want to start collecting, or is it kind of like I buy what I like, and over time it's just grown?
I'd say there was like a couple transitions. It was like my friends in secondary school, like people started going to places like Camden, and like experiencing different things in like a creative way. Started going to parties, and then when I got to college, I met a group of guys who were like really deep into streetwear. So like they were wearing like Maharishi Penfield jackets. They were wearing Stussy jackets. They were the first person I seen with like MF Doom dunks at the time as well. And this is like what 2009, 2010, something like that or whatever. And like they were kind of just showing me a different way of like, okay, cool, there's cool clothes and then there's like streetwear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then I met a guy called Agostino in the church I went to, because the church I went to was like quite creative, but like most churches are like incubators for like music talent as well. You see me all kinds of different people. And he showed me like Supreme, 10 Deep, 12 Bar, like all these brilliant brands, hundreds at the time as well. So then I guess at that point I was like, okay, cool, like I want to start collecting these things. Like, I want to start wearing and being a part of this scene, basically. So I guess when you start working as well, you have your own money. You
of course,
start to like gather things together.
Gotta wait for the bread to come in, guys.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, those are the foundations. Like, you know, making your own money and then meeting different people who had different interests, and then I guess travel as well. So the first time I ever went to the States was when I was like 17 or something like that.
Okay.
Stayed with my auntie who lived in Maryland, and there was like this big outlet, and they had like a Levi's outlet.
Wow.
They had like some streetwear ones, and I remember getting these transparent like Converse lows.
Okay.
They were steamy as hell, but I thought it was so cool because it's like wear different socks.
Yeah.
And it was like I was too young to have gotten the Air Force version of those. Like,
okay.
The blue foxing or whatever, and the blue swoosh, and then the rest of it was transparent. Sorry, I think I was a bit too young for that. But then also that would have been around the time when resale wasn't so big, but like you have to pay a bit more to have got them as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's crazy. I think like those. I find that I've had a few people that have spoken about like going to get to like America and seeing what they kind of got over there, and you're thinking you ain't never gonna get this in the UK. Like,
the game.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I know you do that now with your job, which we'll get into. But do you still feel that now? I know you've had a couple trips to the US, and does that still kind of feel that way?
Yeah, man. The US is a special place. I mean, especially places like New York. Like, you do feel, because it's like it's a place where it all started. I mean, I'm sure people will argue.
Probably.
Places or whatever. Depending on what shoes you're talking about as well. Like if you're talking about Air Force Ones, you have to shout out places like Baltimore and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking like streetwear, hip hop, and just the ecosystem of all the things that we love. Like that is an electric place, and it's like it's special to be there. And going into certain stores, it doesn't change it. But I think the one thing that I picked up on the most the first few times I went there, everybody's into sneakers. It's not like everybody, like everybody into sports, music, sneakers. I was staying somewhere on Wall Street with a friend of mine, and we were at this hotel, real small one. Yeah. And janitor had on some foam posits. Wow. I had on some Crocs, the Salehi Bembury ones. Yeah. She was like, yo, those cold. I was like, nah, yours are cold.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, she was like, she's probably like 50 or something.
Oh, wow.
But it's like, it never stops. Like, they're just always, it
never kind of leaves them in a sense.
It doesn't. You know, that sometimes, like, I'm sure we've all had friends who's like, I'm not wearing sneakers no more. Like, I'm giving up on it. It's like, bro, like,
it doesn't stop. Yeah, like, who said that?
You'll have periods like where you might wear, because I wear shoes as well. You know, you mix it up, and you have your periods where you fall out of love with certain things or whatever. You can get back into it, but you don't actually ever leave. Like.
No, there is no leaving. Anyone that believes there's leaving out there, no, there isn't. We're here to let you know there is no leaving.
Maybe he wasn't really in it.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't really in it. Like, there is no exit plan for sneakers.
This is it. We're locked in.
We're locked in forever. So no, absolutely. So one thing again, I always ask, and Mr. Celebrity, you are not exempt. I ask every guest to bring in a special pair with them. Guys, you can probably see it already, but I'm going to get you to grab your pair.
Of course.
And first, tell the people watching what pair you bought with you and why this is the pair you bought as your special one.
So I brought the Air Max 95 Coral Studios 2.0.
Nice.
These are great colorway. I think Coral Studios does amazing colors in general. So they're an agency out of New York. Shout out Ish. There's a team of them, and they are dedicated to talking about coral bleaching. Okay. So all of like the things that they release has like a reserved amount of money that goes into kind of that cause as well. Yeah. The first one that released kind of set like sneaker world on fire because it was such a small release that happened pretty much in the US only. Okay. And then the second time I got these given to me by my team. So I'd done like, I think it was like an Air Max Day, and it was like 2021. Nice. And I just like pulled a crazy shift of a lot of hours. Yeah. So they sent me this, and nice. I got them chain as well, which is quite nice of them as well.
Oh, that's really nice.
But yeah, we invited Ish on for a second time. Yeah. And it was interesting because he had like a sign up, and he was like, yeah, we're going to put them out. Then I think it kind of went a bit crazy, and it was like, okay, maybe I need to rethink like the release of this because it might get a bit nuts. So I think it's still in the works. I don't know when it's going to come out, but like I don't think many people have these.
I'm gonna have those,
I feel exclusive and special with these.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. That's amazing.
But then also the 95 is, again, like I said, it's like a signature thing for most people in London. I know for Liverpool as well, like a huge thing. Yeah. There is also that big argument of like, and I guess it's an age group thing as well. Are these the 110's? Is the Air Max Plus? Like,
I mean, I know where I'm leaning, and it's probably on the time again that kind of grown up, and I think honestly, I don't know. I didn't even really kind of register it as 95's. It was always 110's for me. Yeah. And then I think I don't even like to say Gen Z or any of that, but I think the newer generation definitely kind of brought it back to being a 95, but it's still 110's. 110's are registered.
You speak to like Franklin or Magdi or some of the guys that dropped there would be like, nah, this was never the 110. It was the Air Max Plus, because that was the one that was actually 110 pounds and this and that.
Oh dear, here we go. The great debate.
Yeah,
the great debate. Guys, get in the comments. Is it 110s or is it 95? I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. But I love the colours on those.
No, that is great.
That is crazy. Like, and you know what? I'm gonna say this, like, and again, just from what I've seen of you as well, I don't know too many guys that are like very kind of daring with colours. Like, would you say again that kind of comes back to where you grew up and how, you know, you're just not afraid to kind of, I've noticed that you're not afraid to kind of wear the bright colours. I tend to find that a lot more of the kind of women are a bit more out there with the daring colours and stuff like that. So is that normal for you? Are you someone that normally gravitates to colour?
Definitely. I think, again, if you think about like Nigerians or Africans in general, like come from vibrant places, same as Jamaicans as well. Jewelry, big thing. Like, you know, like,
come on.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, show yourself, show your character.
Yeah.
But I think also the other thing was in school, it was a very techie time. So like, never been interested in gangs. It just I wasn't interested in.
Nah, none of that.
It's like getting your clothes dirty, getting
no.
Mom's gonna send me to the shops and I'm like, I can't go to that area. It's not gonna happen. It doesn't really work like that. So I think I realized a couple of things early. It was like people were getting into mistaken identity situations because we all dress the same. And that tracksuits is like bread and butter for everybody. That's what you wear. But I realized quickly, I was like, actually, another way to kind of exempt yourself or like maybe keep yourself separate is dressing a bit differently.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to put the tracksuits to bed, unfortunately, because they were comfortable.
Yeah.
But then I started finding new ways to kind of dress, and I was like, actually, people look for the same colours. It's like greys, blacks, blues. But if you're wearing brighter colours, it's almost like they can't even see you.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean? So I agree.
It kind of like brought me into a different light, but then also it made people kind of kick off conversations as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I do also believe that, you know, sometimes, and it's a shame, you should be able to dress however you want, but people make perceptions of how people dress and like, you know, are you dangerous and all that stuff,
no, absolutely.
So, I guess the way I dressed afforded me to like have great conversations and even put me into different rooms, I'd say.
No, absolutely. I think I've always said it, like I dress to kind of, I want to be different. When I'm dressed, I mean, I can't really say much, guys. I'm wearing a trackie today, but
it's a nice colour pink.
Thank you. I felt bright today. I thought I got to match the guy with colours. I got to come in hard with brightness. But I think it is important. I'm such an individual. I love for people to also be individuals and want to be different. And I don't want to look like everyone. You know, I think that's why I'm, you know, extra with nails and jewelry and everything like that. So I think that's important. And I think you definitely, I'm sure a lot of people will agree that you definitely have your own kind of individual identity, which I think is really, really important. Might just come from, you know, the kind of Nigerian swag, but just saying, not being biased, but it is what it is. So you bought 95's with you, or 110's, guys. We're still going to debate that one. So I'm gonna kind of let's imagine for a moment, that okay. We've got like Nike creative team have called you up. They said, Will, like we need some ideas. And then they say, we want you to grab any Air Max silhouette, and we want you to kind of create your own or make a collab. Like what kind of silhouette would you choose?
I would. You might have it actually.
Okay.
There was a period where like there was a lot of like soul swapping at Nike.
Okay.
And they did it was what was it? It was like a Air Max Plus upper.
Okay.
With a 97 sole.
Yeah. I remember those,
I had it and I don't know what I did with it. That was a great shoe. And I think that was really fun as well.
Yeah,
The colours on that was amazing. I think it'd be like a swell sort of situation.
Okay, so because that was like was it like the hybrid? What did they call it at the time?
Hybrid,
because I know they did a 97 top and a TN bottom.
Yeah.
I still wanted to get my hands on them. They did like
those. I feel like I've seen a picture.
No, I don't. If I had posted it, it was probably me. You know, has anyone got these? But no, it was definitely not mine. But I know it was a really kind of, it was a mixture of like vivid, like it was like an orangey, pinky, but
great colours.
So you would go for the mix.
Because if you think about like Air Maxes in recent times that have like really set the internet ablaze, it's like one that goes without question. I don't know why it keeps coming up conversation. Sean Weatherspoon.
That
insane.
Yeah, insane. I mean? Yeah,
great shoe. But yeah, I think it'd have to be like a hybrid kind of situation. Pair. There's even a BW. Like I love a BW. It's like great, but there's also BWs with like some of the grooves of the Air Max Plus as well. Like I love an Air Max Plus, man. Like it's a great shoe and a great time.
Absolutely. Like my favorite silhouette of all time is the Air Max Plus TN. Like grew up wearing those. That was like again when we came back to having bread. It was like these are the pairs I'm gonna go back to. Like before, it was like the hustle to get my dad to take me to Foot Locker to get them. I still like now. I think with me and like Foot Locker in terms of TNs, I always find that they're great for having so many different colors. And the thing I love about it is outside of like the neutral colors like the whites, the blacks, the navies. Once you get one of the colors and you don't get it, it doesn't come back. So I always feel like with every TN that I have, it's like if anyone didn't get it at the same time, which funny enough, some people love it, some people don't. But for the ones that don't, it always feels like, oh my God, like where did you get that color? Where did it? And it's like, oh yeah, I got this from like 2018 or something. And you know it's never going to come back. They bring back some colorways. Like I think they brought back recently the rainbow ombre ones. I think they were a 2019 or 18, one of them, and they were like big back then. And I was so glad when they brought those back because I nearly went to the dark place in terms of looking at resale, and the prices were crazy.
It's insane,
absolutely insane. So the fact that they brought them back and at retail, and I find that with TNs, not many people flood to them like that.
No, you have to like be from a certain place, man. Or like there is like the trend side of it that's kind of like TikTok-y, but when you really kind of like get into the weeds of it, people are from similar places that wear them. I think TNs were definitely like a North London thing. It was so big. I know, like I think the 110's were more like east and south, but the north side of London was very TN-y, very, and I think I was in similar, like seeing my older cousins and stuff with it. I was like, I'm there, mid-air. So obviously you've touched on people wanting to know your thoughts and your opinions. I've introduced the game this season, guys. We're at that halfway point of the season. I've introduced the game this season. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. It's called This or That. So just the rules of This or That, very simply, I'm just going to give you a couple of comparisons and you're just going to pick which one obviously most relates to you. You ready? Up for the challenge? I'm ready.
Guys, if you agree with him, get in the comments. Again, this is very personalized. I would have stalked your page and seen a couple things that's going on, so hopefully I'll get the truth and nothing but the truth. Cool. Perfect. So the first one I'm going to go for is the Air Jordan 2 Lows or the Nike Mac Attacks.
2 lows.
2 lows? Oh, why? That's a
2 lows is quite sharp. It does hurt your feet, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no.
It's quite sharp. Mac Attacks are nice, but it's one of the ones I've got, but I need to come back to it and figure out how I want to wear it on a regular basis.
Okay, cool, we'll go with that. Okay, next one. I've got the Air Footscapes or the Nike Cortez.
Oh, Footscapes.
Footscapes?
Yeah, Footscapes.
Cool. I think that's a very unique shoe. Not everyone's going to gravitate to that.
Footscapes are a great shoe. Yeah,
that's cool.
Great
cool.
Shoe.
We'll go with that. Next one, I've got Terra Squad Air Force Ones or the Nocta Air Force Ones.
Oh, that's a...
Oh, I caught him off guard, guys.
Terra Squad, both great leather.
Yeah.
Like, amazing leather on both shoes. But I think for something that we didn't think was ever going to release, there's so many different colorways, and Fat Joe as a person, no disrespect to Drake, amazing shoe and great what he did with it with the little beads and stuff. But gotta go Terra Squad.
Yeah, the Terra Squad. That was kind of like we were waiting for that. Yeah. Cool. Next one I've got is a Cold War TNs or the Pata FC Barcelona TNs.
Cold War TNs.
Cold War TNs.
Yeah.
I've seen you wear them.
Yeah. I've got the black ones as well. And then someone told me about, or someone from the team that handles all that stuff was like that it pertains to another colour and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, we say that about everything. I saw the pictures. I was like, right, like, it really
they really
does.
do. Yeah, they were lying.
So I was like, let me start wearing them more.
No, I really wanted the blue ones, but I kind of snoozed and missed out. Of course, story of my life, guys. Cool. The next one I've got is the Cactus Plant Flea Market Air Force Ones or the Tiffany Air Force Ones.
Ooh. Cactus, man.
Cactus, yeah. Some of them colours,
It's crazy, yeah.
Mad. Yeah. Next one I've got, just in terms of Nike, Sneakers Day or Air Max Day.
Ooh. I might... I'd say Air Max Day,
Air Max Day?
Because that game show one was fun.
The after party... Boy, it was a bit blurry, guys. It got a bit blurry after a while, but let me just say I enjoyed myself. Next one I've got is Supreme or Pata. Yes, I know. I knew I was gonna make him lost the words.
I'm gonna say Supreme because there's some pieces I've got that are just like really amazing. Like I think I have more Supreme pieces than I do than Pata.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one I've got is the Nike ACG Huaraches or their Nike Air Max Tailwind 4s.
Oh.
I thought about these.
Huarache, yeah. The Tailwind 4 is stronger. I've been wearing mine recently, but yeah, I think the ACG Huaraches is a classic.
Okay,
great colorway.
Cool. Next one I've got is the Nike Air Presto or the Nike Air Max 96s.
Presto? Yeah, Presto, Footlocker, yeah.
Presto comfort game is
next.
Is wild. And last but not least, I can never really say this, the Nike Kukini or the Nike Air, probably know the answer to this, the Nike Air 180s.
I've actually never had a 180, so I'm going to say a 180, but I do love a Kukini, but I'm going to try the new 180s.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, that was your this or that.
Thank you.
Guys, did we agree with Will? Get in those comments, let me know.
Let me know.
I think I'm with you on some of them, but yeah, let us know, guys. So, Will, of course, for those that are watching, most people that are watching probably know where you're coming from in terms of what you do for a living, in terms of working for Nike. There's been so many different things. I've seen you hosting and so many different events going on. I know it might be a bit tricky, but can you think of any particular singular event or memorable project that you've kind of worked on?
Most memorable, I would say... Most memorable, I'd have to break it down to two.
Okay.
The inception of live, because that was never part of my role.
Oh, okay.
So that was like a great time. It was like you'll do this thing as like a prep for when we get the actual host or whatever.
Okay.
And this is me and Lucian. And Lucian did the first one like internally. So that prep was really, really interesting because it was like the world is like in a very weird place with COVID.
Oh, God,
obviously, live has always existed, but like, everyone really went to live.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. It felt like Nike stepping closer to its community and the consumers.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I think before that, and maybe I could be wrong, sneakers never had a voice. Like, you would just have got them or you didn't get them.
Or you didn't get them. Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely.
So it felt really good. It was like you could speak to people without actually talking to them. And I think maybe a testament of that is sometimes I'd meet people and they'd be like, I met you before. And I'm like,
did you?
You haven't.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them carry on until they realise basically. And they'll be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought I met you, but you just the guy on the live stream, basically.
Yeah.
I know you. So there was that. And then the big one I think I just can never forget is Tinker and Clint. That was great.
Yeah.
So obviously known Clint for some time, not very well, but we see each other about. But then having that conversation between like an old legend who's still very sharp and then like a young fire who's like, you know, making his way through, but then seeing how excited Clint was to meet him and then seeing how excited Tinker was to kind of see someone who had similar values as him as well.
No, absolutely.
It was such a great time and great conversation. And I feel like that's what maybe sometimes, and not just Nike, the culture needs, like someone to bring two different age groups together and pass the baton on, and there's no like weirdness. It's like there's so much I can teach you, then there's also so much newness you can learn from me as well.
No, absolutely. Like even watching that, I was like, I was watching to see if you were nervous. I was like, let me see if how he's gonna handle this. But no, absolutely. I remember I was watching that thinking, wow, like even to say we got here in terms of having, like you said, the kind of newer generation versus Tinker, it's absolutely mind-boggling. I was like, wow, we are definitely in new times. And I think Tinker signed signed. I was like, wow, like this is surreal.
I always say this, it was like the things that were happening outside of the cameras was really interesting. When Tinker signed Clint's shoe, he was bouncing off the walls. Like,
really?
He was crazy. Then he gave him a Huarache, like a low Oregon's.com.
Wow.
He was going mad.
That is
going mad.
Crazy. So, Will, a question that I want to ask. I have again asked this before, and I just felt that you would also probably be a good person to ask the same kind of question. Just kind of your thoughts on inclusivity and representation, especially obviously you work with quite a big brand. Like, how important would you say those are to you as a person?
To me personally, like, you know, you said that I've been like doing the rounds or whatever, and I feel like that's me playing my part. I think for a long time, like getting into Nike was like one thing, and it was a great feeling, and then once I started doing the live streaming, I didn't realize until like outside was open again, because obviously most of that was in lockdown.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what it meant to see a black face on screen.
Yeah.
And like the response that people had, I was like, damn, like the representation isn't where I thought it was. And I think I just assumed in my head that we all are being seen as the same, but we're not entirely, you know. So I think for me, it's important that I play my role, make sure I show up for people like yourself.
Yeah.
And whoever else has like got a platform that kind of needs like more light on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, why wouldn't I if I can? So I think it's in a decent place, but there's so much more that could be done. I think there needs to be like a better playing field. Like we said earlier, like, you know, if you're a woman, if you're a bit older, what are the things that kind of like don't play in your favor? And you need to kind of like, you know, address those things, and it's real, you know. The sneaker game or content game, whichever way you look at it, it's a young person's game. But then at the same time, the knowledge part, which every brand needs, isn't a young person's game. Like you have to have been around for some of these things, and sometimes you might get things wrong. So how do you remain in that balance? And it's like there needs to be like a diversity in thinking. You know?
Do you feel like, because I sometimes felt like there is an element of maybe having the knowledge, you know, or getting the knowledge, and then, you know, like say, just as an example, brands having someone with the knowledge, but maybe in like an older age range, and then maybe kind of feeding that through to the kind of younger person to kind of, I guess, feed it out.
Yeah, the brands definitely have a responsibility. Like I said, like I think there should be more examples, maybe not on that larger scale, but there should be more examples of a Clint Tinker moment. Like, you know, there should definitely be more like the way Franklin's tied with like FD. You know what I mean? There should be more moments like that. And I think the brands can play a role in that with even little things like making sure your invite list is across the board. You know, because at the same time as well, sometimes it can lean too much to one age group as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Where like younger people feel like that's a them man thing, like it's not really for us. Do you know what I mean? We don't feel included there as well. But it's like I think it's important to like, you know, make sure that the brands are playing a role and kind of like opening up the doors to everyone in that regard. And I think the invites is the very, very least they can do.
Is there any part of you that feels like you have to kind of keep up with the younger kind of?
I think, coming into it, you do feel like, damn, like I need to be on this and that. But then once you start to realize what your position is and like the value you bring, you start to understand where you should be placed, and then you don't try and confuse yourself or your energy for what that is. It's like if you're like in your 30s, you probably have responsibilities of a house, bills, or kids, or whatever it is, basically, or big role, or whatever it is. You just can't have the same amount of time available. But at the same time, I do think it's a real thing. Like there is like a push to a younger generation who understands socials better, who's done it more often as well. But at the same time, there's just like there's skill sets that you can't take away. Like I remember before Nike, before like all this stuff, there was a time I was at an agency and I did a job for Adidas. And I hosted this thing for when Stormzy had a tracksuit. And there was this whole thing about that tracksuit's too expensive or whatever. So I hosted the event for the launch of that, and I remember there was someone else who was supposed to do the hosting of the event and like write pieces for poetry and all that kind of stuff or whatever, and for whatever reason they dropped out, and I came in like 3 days before the event and did everything basically. And I remember someone from the agency was like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 28. She was like, oh, you're a bit on the old side. I was like, but I know you have, so you know,
28 years old.
So it was interesting, but then like I did what I could, and it was a great time, got loads of props from it, opened up loads of doors for it as well. But it was like you can't deny talent when you see it. Do you know what I mean? So the age thing, that got thrown out the window because it didn't matter. For a long time, before I got to Nike, there was like a feeling, or even when I got here, there was a feeling of like, I've started this late. If that makes sense. But then I think everything's always perfect timing of like when it's supposed to happen, you know? But I think it's important for you to not like I said, not to get caught up in that as well. If the brand feels like that, or the agency, or whoever feels like that, that's their perception. They could always be wrong. Like, do you know what I mean? That's a real thing. But I think you shouldn't let it discourage you from where you want to go. There were so many roles that I'd applied for before that were like entertainment led or youth led or whatever, and it came down to, oh, you're not young enough. You're not, and it's like, I hear you, but like, look at where that direction it's taken things into, you know. So it needs to be a balance, like a healthy balance, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was kind of, I guess most people know that was one of the main motivations for me even creating this platform, that I felt like, okay, rather than waiting for a seat at the table, or I'm not going to meet that I'm not going backwards in age, you know, if only. But it's like, I'm not ever going to meet this category that you're looking for. So I might as well, create the table, make a space for everyone. Right. Like, so there's no kind of, you know, there's no restrictions here. Like, I believe people that love sneakers or into trainers, like, we all look different, we all sound different, we're all different ages, like all of that. I know it's not a freedom speech or anything like that, but I really am, at least in this world, trying to create that space where there isn't kind of people left out of that. I think representation, again, is something I'm really, really passionate about, and I'm trying my best to see, you know, what I can do to kind of contribute to improving that. So, well, nearly at the end, but of course I want to definitely find out what's kind of next for you. So what's anything exciting coming up? I know celebrities in the building, you lot, I'm going to say this every week, NDAs, you know, they don't want to give too much away, but is there anything going on with yourself, you know, separate from what you do?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I had a conversation with someone yesterday for breakfast, and I was saying, you know, that I write, and like I really do enjoy writing, but I think the issue is when you have a full-time job, and you're already like being paid from that, sometimes your passions get pushed to the side, because it's like, I'm not dying to live on this. It's like, it's a gift, so you should use it. And it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you'll lose it, kind of thing. So like, definitely more writing, for like poetry, just for fun. But also like some music stuff I'd love to do. I do a lot of voiceover stuff, would love to do more of that. I've been talking about starting off like a newsletter for so long, and I think it's just mainly because people don't read anymore, one. Yeah, no. I definitely look at pictures, guys. Yeah. No, not even that. Just more so like when I'm reading through like comment sections or like information that goes out, and I'm like, the questions you're asking are inside of the caption, but you're actually not reading it. Basically. And it would also force me to like write better and read more as well. But more so just on things like, I have like a obsession with like shades, and I like kind of obscure shades or like really nicely framed shades, and I'm like, okay, cool, I want to write about that. I'm 33 and I'm now wearing glasses. That's a shock of life. Oh, no, welcome to the club. You know welcome to the club. It's not that bad, but it's like, it's still like, I want to document these things. You know what I mean? Just to kind of go along. But yeah, and then definitely at some point, like just having like more time to just interview and chat to people. Like I really love conversation. So no, absolutely. And I've enjoyed this conversation. You're definitely a conversationalist. You know, guys, I love a story time, and you definitely shared a lot of that. So really thank you, thank you for coming on today, and we look forward. Can we look forward to some writing? You know, your kind of that some of that. Let's say, or do you keep that on the low? No, do you keep that on the low? I mean, there was the first thing I ever put out was a friend of mine. He's a producer, a great producer named called Snips. We put out something and it got picked up by Defected. This was like 4 years ago. Oh now. Wow! And I was like, I know I can do this. I just need to put my head to it. Basically. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. So, yeah, expecting more. I got a mate called James Messiah. He does a night in the Haggerston. And he's always telling me to come, and I'm like, I'm gonna come, and it's down the road, and I should just go. So if you don't see me there next time, be like, you're mucking about, mate. Like, so, is it you got a bit of stage fright? Is that why you're not even? You know, I think just not taking it serious enough. Okay. You know? Yeah. Just need to push myself a bit more. Okay, cool. Well, we'll definitely have a look out for that. Cool. Absolutely. But Will, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I loved it. It has been an absolute pleasure having you here. Celebrities in the building again, guys. We're rolling the season. So much more to come. Of course, we're going to continue. For those that don't know Will, we're going to continue with getting to know each other, sharing. So I'm just going to get you to share your socials, all the wonderful socials out there with the audience. I'm Will Stowe, HOS on everything. So Stowe with an E at the end. I'm on Instagram, X. I just on TikTok, to be honest with you. And if the is it called Substack? Yeah, the newsletter comes to life. It's going to be Will Stowe HOS again. I might make some funny name for it, but yeah. Yeah, we're still drafting that, guys. But yeah, definitely have a look out for that. And I hope that you definitely put that out there. It's out there now. They've heard it, so the pressure's there now. Now we're waiting for it. But guys, make sure you follow Will Stowe on all of his social media platforms. You can call it X. I'll still call it Twitter. Yeah, it's true. Make sure you follow Will. Make sure you follow myself, CREPERELLA. Make sure you follow the SOLEKTED page. Do you agree with this or that, guys?
I don't know, some of them I agree, some of them I didn't. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, make sure you ring that notification so you never miss another episode, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.
See you later.